Hey folks, how we doing? It's your boy, DM Cerberus, aka Serb, aka Kai, and we are back once again for a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. What? Yeah, we're back folks, we are going to be playing our Dungeons and Dragons campaign once again tonight. Joining me, we will have Painted Kitten, Lightning Hound, and Blue Potato Cat. Unfortunately, Raz Lion is actually working tonight. He may be around a little later on, depending on what time he gets home, but he is working till really late, so he may not even be home by the time the session ends. As soon as I unmute myself and say hello to stream, Stomach starts. Give me a moment, folks. Okay, better. Right, well, we, like I said, we do have 3 of our 4 players tonight, and we will be continuing on. Just as a little heads up for anyone and everyone that has not been in the stream before when we've done Dungeons and Dragons, all of these sound alerts are switched off. I think things like raids and stuff like that may still happen. I can't remember if those are switched off when I set this one up or not. But all of the actual sound alerts and channel points and all that stuff are switched off for the stream. It's simply because I want to try and keep the immersion, and I found that's the best way of doing it. We are going to go say hello in Discord in just a moment to the 3 folks that we've got in. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I've got no reason to hold off. Let's go say hello and get this thing started. Hello, hello,
that's
hello.
So cool. That's gonna come so handy. Oh, hello.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
Yes.
Lovely
We're
stuff.
excited for today.
Yup, I know. This is gonna be so much fun. Give me
Actually,
2
like,
seconds.
Two weeks. Actually, like 2 weeks after the last session as well. It's like
I
an
know.
actual campaign.
I know. Painted, were you planning on streaming it tonight at all?
I will not be. I will
No.
not be. I was like, I was thinking, and I was like, nah.
Nah,
I
that is
have my
completely
sock
fair.
knitting and stuff, and
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I'll
good, all
still
good.
be rolling my dice IRL if that's okay though.
Oh, no, of course. That's absolutely fine. You'll just need to tell me what you get. I just
Sure.
wanted to double check because I've been putting mine into YouTube just to kind of document the campaign. So I just wanted to check if anyone else is streaming it tonight.
Yeah.
Cat, Hounds, well, Cat, I know that you're still having OBS problems. Hounds, I'm guessing you're possibly not streaming it tonight?
No,
No, that's all good.
yeah, for me, like, I don't plan on streaming the D&D sessions just because it's I don't think I have the audience for it.
That's fair. No, that is completely fair, my dude. Okay, well, it like you say, Kitten, it has only been 2 weeks since our last session, but that does give you a very valuable resource, downtime. So before we actually get into the session proper and we start everything there, let me just pull up my sheet here. So, Raz isn't here to spend his downtime, so either I'll catch up with him later on and he'll do his like after stream when I catch up with him, or he'll just do those next session. Next up is Kat. Kat, you were working towards becoming an alchemy journeyman, or kind of starting your path on learning alchemy. Is that what you're going to be wanting to continue working on?
Yep.
Okay, lovely stuff. So if you could make me, I can't remember, I think it was nature checks, wasn't it? That I was asking you to make.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say, yeah, if you roll a nature, keep rolling nature ability checks for me. You need a 15 to succeed. Um,
Okie dokie.
and you need 6 more successes out of the 14 days to be able to kind of take that first step and achieve that first goal. Whilst you're...
So,
Sorry, carry on.
wait, so I'm rolling nature how many times again?
Well, you need to succeed 6 times. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
roll all of your downtime to do it, so I'd maybe do it one roll at a time.
Okay.
Until either you get 6 that are above 15 and above, or you roll 14 times.
Okay.
So, either or.
Yep, yep.
Whilst you're doing that, Painted, you
Hello.
have your healer feat that you were working on.
Yes. So,
So again, that was DC 15. I think for you, that was a...
yeah, so needed to roll 13 or higher. We had medicine check.
Yeah, it was
I
a
had
medicine check for that one.
15
15 out of
successes from
25, so you
before.
need 10 more.
Yeah. And I got 6 successes today.
Okay.
So I'm
Hang
sitting
on,
at 21.
yeah, and Nara, hold on 2 secs because you rolled a nat 20 there, so that counts as double for one of them. So I'll hold off and I'll double check, see how many you've spent there.
Okie dokie.
So yeah, DC 15 for you. So I think you need to roll a 13 with your +2 to medicine. And yeah, you've got 14 units, 14 attempts, and you need 10 successes. Hounds, you were going to be looking at different maneuvers for your Battlemaster stuff.
Yep.
DC 15, it was an attack roll with your club, I'm pretty sure. And you only need 5 successes.
Okay. I was going to use the advanced dice roller.
Yep, so it'd be the bonus that you get with your club. I would potentially roll them, just roll 5 at a time if you're going to use the advanced dice roller. Just because you don't want to spend more downtime than you need to. If you roll successes on all 5 of your first ones, you don't need to spend any more on that.
All right. And then what was the modifier?
So for you on your character sheet, your attack is with your club it's +5.
+5. So if I did it correctly, the advanced roller, I'm gonna roll 5 d20s with a +5.
So the advanced dice roller doesn't do it like that, unfortunately. So what it'll do is it'll roll the 5 d20s and then it will add 5 to the total of that. It adds, when you roll multiple d20s, it adds those together. It doesn't know that you're looking for separate rolls. I just roll 5 d20 through the advanced dice roller, and then you can just add 5 to each of them manually. So whilst you're doing that, Nara, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so Nara, you've used 8 of your downtime days there. So you've got 6 left. And you have finished your first step into alchemy. What I'll do with your one being alchemy, I'll be specifically setting it up so that you've got kind of a knowledge of stuff. So I'll be probably talking to you off stream about that one. So I'll fill you in about all of that. Hounds, just because your rolls are there, 1 success and a first, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'll say that you've spent 8 there because within the first 8 rolls you've got the 5 successes you needed. So the last 2 19s there you wouldn't have spent as such.
Okay. So that would leave...
Well, that puts you on 5 successes because the 20 counts for double. because you've got
Okay, so
17, which would be 22, 25 on the 20, that counts as 2 successes, so that's 3, and then the 18 and the 12, when you add the +5 to them, they're both above 15 as well.
so that leaves me with what, 6 units of downtime or 5?
Yeah, 6. 6, because you had 14 and you've spent 8 there.
Okay.
So, Battlemaster called shots. I may have to come back to you on that one, just because I know that we were talking about actually tying that into when you hit 3rd level, because that is when you'd have the Battlemaster maneuvers anyway, and you'd get the extra dice for that. I will say I will get that sorted for you for next session, just because what's happening in this one may lead to you, depending on what all of you do, will potentially be looking at level 3 fairly soon, after tonight. Yeah, we've not TPK'd yet, Raz. Katoa, good to see you. Painted, I appreciate you being there, hanging out in the chat as well.
No worries.
It's alright, Raz. It'll be starting soon. The chaos will be starting, don't you worry. So yeah, that is you maxed out for that one. That is you maxed out for that one. And Letty, how did you do on your rolls?
So, I had 15 successes from before,
Yep.
and today I got 5 successes. So like half, no, not even half, below half. I rolled shite today.
Sometimes it happens. Was that all of your downtime spent on that?
Yes. So I
Okay.
have 20 successes
20
altogether
out
at
of
the moment.
25. Absolutely fine. It is a little bit harder for you to learn medicine as compared to, for example, Parok learning Battlemaster moves, or Inara learning alchemy, because I don't think you're proficient in medicine, are you?
No, it's just.
So if you had that
is it
proficiency,
wisdom?
you'd get the extra +2, which would be making it a little easier. I'm just using skills that would make sense for the actual skill, rather than what the player's strengths and weaknesses are. It might take you a little bit longer to learn the healer feat compared to someone else that, you know, knows medicine and has all of the bonuses to that stat.
I
but
mean,
you still can.
Yeah, and I mean it is a feat, so yeah, I ain't salty about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, you are all good. So yeah, Hounds, you have your called shots, and we will chat about that. Cat, you will have your alchemy, and we will talk about that. And Raz, if you're still in chat there, I can either catch you after stream or at the start of next stream to do your downtime. Just let me know, bud. But yeah, I think with that one, we're pretty much ready to hop back in and kind of do a little bit of a recap of last time.
Yay.
Would anyone
Very
else?
nice.
Yeah, would anyone else like to do the recap?
And I'm going to mute.
Real quick.
No, that is completely fair. So, last week we started our adventure with you standing in the alleyway, of which you had just captured the assassin, the person who had struck down Brian. Brian was the owner of the establishment that you were meant to be staying in that night, and he was quite literally murdered in front of you. Being brave heroes, you'd stepped in and dealt with the assassin, and the guards had come and taken him away. After all of that, you had decided you were going to rest for the night. That was a good idea. That was a good plan. So after a couple of tense conversations and a somewhat good night's rest for most of you, you awoke the next morning. Each of you being awoken by the sound of wood and iron scraping against stone. For those of you that have been to Waterdeep before, you recognise this as the sound of the Great Gates opening to the north in Field Ward. That meant that access to the city was restored. You're able to get back to it and go and do the things that you needed to. Remembering the conversation from the guards the night before, you know that you needed to go to the Citadel to make a report. And as you headed into the city, discussing this, you saw a fine gentleman stood with his cart, waiting to help anyone and everyone explore the wonders of the City of Splendor. He popped you all aboard his cart and took off down the road with all of you in tow. His carriage bounced around, taking you through various different sections as he was pointing out different parts of the city to you. You reported to the Citadel, at which point you were greeted by a mysterious figure, someone who called themselves one of the Masked Lords of Waterdeep. For any of you who do know anything about the capital city of the Swords Coast, you would know that the Masked Lords are indeed the Lords of the city. A council of them lead, bringing various expertise, all hidden under the guise of this mask. Except there is one open lord within the city, one who does rule this Masked Lord Council, almost. And her name, I cannot remember for the life of me. 5e Waterdeep ruler, because her name has completely slipped my mind. But yes, the Lords of Waterdeep, the Open Lord of Waterdeep, currently is, where is it? I believe, yes, it was
Everiel.
Layrel Silverhand. Is the current Open Lord of Waterdeep. She is well known throughout the city. Various people are kind of in awe of her. She has brought peace to a lot of the Swords Coast after various tensions between various cities and races, as sometimes happens in these lands. So she's known as a good ruler, and is the one figure that is recognised upon this this Council of Lords. As mentioned, this Masked Lords thanked you for dealing with said assassin. They gave you a gift, some money, to say thank you for your deed, and said that they would perhaps be in touch, as well. Some of you seemed a little invested in finding out more about Raphael, so perhaps you will have contact at some point in the future by them. But nonetheless, you left and went in search of somewhere to find some fancy different odds and ends, different things. You weren't entirely sure where. But in the end, you found yourself outside of a place called the Unknown Arcanum, run by an Azamar, a Protector Azamar, who greeted you all as warmly as an old friend would. Pink straight hair pulled back into a ponytail with a full radiant face. You've spoken to him. He made you a few offers and deals, and so now each of you is wearing the branding of the Unknown Arcanum, courtesy of Mikael, the Asimard that is acting as a sort of benefactor or sponsor, giving you discount within his stores, having given you a gift for agreeing to do such, and in exchange simply asks that you wear his branding on one of your pieces of clothing. I believe all of you had it put on different things. I can't remember if all of you got it done straight away. Lethister, I know that you were waiting for the jacket, weren't you? To get that done.
Yes, I was. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Did you go and get the jacket? I can't quite remember if we did that or not, where you collected that.
No, so we finished off in the shop still, so we didn't
Sure.
actually leave the shop.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. But yes, we can get that done. You can collect that. But I believe Anara and Parok, you both had things marked, didn't you?
Yep.
Lovely stuff.
I don't remember because for me, my character was really hesitant about being branded, and I don't know if I don't know if we actually set on what was going to be branded, but that's when we
That's fair.
received the bag of holding.
Yes, he said that if you were the one to be carrying the bag of holding, that would be enough because that carries its branding. So if you're happy to do so, in character you're the one carrying it, but I think what we had said is out of character, Raz would just keep everything. No, you were the one keeping everything updated. That's right.
Yep.
So yeah, that is on you, and that counts. He is more than happy with that. And yeah, you were currently still in the shop there. And Michael is kind of still just stood in awe, looking up at Mikael. Just blown away by the fact that there is a celestial right in front of his eyes there. The rest of you have finished your conversation with Mikael and are currently just stood in said shop. What is it that you wish to do?
Could I possibly ask a couple more questions from Mikael before
Of-
we head off wherever we're
course.
going to go?
He just kind of slowly drifts over, walking as if his feet are touching air, over to the kind of the bar, the till, and just rests on his arms on the till. So, was there anything else that I could help you with?
Letty kind of like looks at Mikael a bit distrustfully because that's the type of person that she just is.
Yep.
But seeing as we've now entered into a deal, she pulls out the vials that she took off the would-be assassin. Because she doesn't know what they are, she was just wondering if Mikael would be able to have a look at them.
Yep. Okay, so as Letty goes to pull those out and holds them aloft, he looks over. Ooh. That's interesting, may I? And he reaches over to take it from you. Thank you. And as he takes it and inspects it, he uncorks it, sniffs a little, and you see he dips a finger into it and just puts the tiniest little drop of it on his tongue and recoils slightly. That's rather unpleasant poison. Where did you find this?
I came across it. Why?
I was simply just curious. What are you looking to do with it? Just have it identified? Or were you looking to sell it?
I would like to keep it for now, and then she just like goes to
course.
snatch it back.
Oh yeah, he freely hands it back over. But yes, do be careful with that. If either ingested or placed on a blade, it can deal some nasty damage to an individual.
I will make note of this. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Oh,
Out of character, that will do an extra 2d6 of poison when either applied on a blade or if it's put into a drink or something like that, it will be 2d6 as soon as it's ingested.
noted. Nice. Okay. Cool. Excellent. That's good.
So-
Okay. Thank you.
Rock had just kind of standing by. He kind of overhears the conversation and just kind of perks his ears up and says, in terms of like how illegal this type of poison is this something that we should worry about if we're caught with it, or is it something that may be the norm in Waterdeep?
I mean, people don't tend to be carrying poison. There's not necessarily a law stating you can't own it. The issue is if and when it is used. Poison, when used for the correct things, such as dealing with vermin, is highly successful and isn't a danger or a threat. Used in the wrong way, you would be looking at a lot of trouble.
And just kind of nod my head in it's a valid reason.
But who am I to judge what your reasoning is for using it or keeping it?
So Letty puts this back into her pocket. And she tries to be as nonchalant as possible about this next bit. Because when she was talking to the would-be assassin, or like when she asked the question where she should look for Raphael, then the assassin said all the way up and down. So Letty's thinking that maybe like both celestial and then underworld. So because this being, this Asimar in front of them, is considered a celestial, that he might know something about it. So as nonchalantly as possible, she kind of like looks at him and, oh, I've been hearing this name Raphael. Does this ring a bell? We just came across it.
Raphael.
It was
Not
like a, I think
particularly.
red R is like a symbol or something.
Make an insight check for me.
Ooh, yes.
But as you're doing so, he kind of frowns slightly, thinking, I can't say that it does. A red R. I have heard of that in less than
14.
14. Okay. So the first part where he says about Raphael seems to be telling the truth. Doesn't recognise the name. This next bit again, he seems to be telling the truth. The red R. Now I have heard of that. Well, that's right. Of course, in my line of business, we may have some competitors that work on the not so legal side of the fence. And supposedly a red R has been showing face across a couple of places that my competitors may be frequenting, let's say. You get the intent. He's trying not to say black market, but that's what he's referring to there. His competitors from the not so legal side of the fence would be someone like the Thieves Guild or something. So from what you can infer from what he's saying, there seems to be something going on in the kind of underbelly of the city with this letter R. But the name Raphael, he doesn't he didn't show any recognition or seem to react to the name at all.
Okay, cool.
So, it is out of character. I just want to make sure. Did Letty actually say that to him from the bottom to the top? Was that said verbally?
I don't
Oh,
think
no,
that
no.
was top to bottom. I think it was just where she was like, so we've heard the name Raphael part. Do you know anything about him? I think that part was the in-character part there.
Because the only reason she was asking Mikhail about this was because Mikhail is a
Yeah,
partly
the only
celestial.
reason that you've thought about kind of asking about it. Not a problem.
Okay. And then just for another clarification question, would Parak have known that statement from the top to the bottom, or whatever it was?
I think
Um,
you were keeping the would-be assassin, or like was assassin, in a chokehold at the time. So
yeah, so it was the assassin that said it. I'm pretty sure that all four of you would have heard him, the assassin, speak. And the exact line that he said was all the way to the top and all the way down below.
Okay, I'm ready to go back in character.
Cool.
Uh,
No, that's all good. Sometimes you need clarification.
okay, so after listening to the conversation, there was like a click that kind of went off in Parak, and maybe he was catching on to something, or maybe he was just getting there. And then he speaks up and says, maybe this Raphael is a super powerful dude. Because if you remember, if the red R is in the belly, in the depths, potentially in these not so legal trades, maybe he's somebody who has a large control over the city, or has some control over the city.
I already know that Raphael is a super powerful being. I have seen what he's capable of doing.
You
Um,
are saying this in front of Mikael, who is definitely watching on enraptured. So, this sounds rather interesting. Who is this Raphael?
That is for us to know and for you to not worry about.
Parak looks at him and is like, I don't know either.
I mean, it would certainly harm business if my new favourite customers were not coming back. They were dealt with by this super powerful individual.
I
You
mean,
say they're
we're
from Waterdeep
adventurers.
here.
Sorry, say that again.
You say they're from Waterdeep here.
Don't know. The tracks just seem to converge.
Well, I could always ask around and see what my associates can find out for you.
Letty eyes him for a moment. Not quite sure if she's ready to put more trust into another person. Because all of this is like too much for her already, so. um. She just kind of like ignores it as if like to try and brush it away.
Okay.
Do you have any heal kits?
Yes, we do. Let me
Completely
just...
changing the
And he kind of reaches up into the air, and almost appearing in his hand is this crate. And as he pulls it down and puts it onto the till, you can see there's various different types of heal kits, all of which are mechanically the same, but different styles. You've got different ones that are designed more with herbs and things like that. You've got ones that are bandages and more kind of slightly more modernized. So there's all sorts that is there. How many were you looking for?
Out of character, I'm just going to ask, is there any like mechanical difference between them, or is it just
No mechanical
different?
difference.
Okay.
They're all just kind of different kits made by different people in different parts of the world, kind of thing. They've just got different variety.
Okay.
So
She looks at them and kind of like peers into them, and I would like to have the herbal ones, because yeah, for her it would be just like something that
It'd
is
be much
closer.
more her. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like natural.
So he does have 6 of those heal kits there.
Okay. How much would one of them be?
Well, typically I'd charge 10 gold each for these, but seeing as you're my very, very good friends here, was it 20% we agreed on?
25.
25, yeah.
25. I'm glad you have a good memory. So that would be 7 gold, 5 silver for each.
I'm just trying to see where my gold is.
Rock
For a
kind
moment
of
there, that was actually me out of character forgetting that it was 25, not 20.
I made a note. I was like 25.
I'm glad you did.
so
Okay.
Harak kind of reaches over and says, "Hey, we still have some of that reward money left. You shouldn't have to use your personal funds. How many did you want to get?" As he's kind of holding the bag, getting ready to reach in.
Yes, yeah.
She looks at Proc and doesn't quite know what to do, because in her head, like, her reward has been the jacket, and that's been more than enough. Like, she doesn't really want anything else. She doesn't really care about gold. And for her to accept the money would be like actually accepting that she's a part of the group. How would she react? No, she. That's quite all right, but I can cover this myself. Thank you. So
while she's going through that, kind of making the decision, Parak says, "I'll take 2 of the bandages."
Wonderful. And he takes 2 of the healer kits out and passes them over and pops them in your hand there.
All right, so that's
15 gold total rather than 20.
All right, he reaches in, pulls out 15 gold 15 gold tokens or gold, hands it to him.
Wonderful, wonderful.
does that mean that he has 4 left now, or
He has 6 of the herbal ones. He had 6 of the other ones as well. He had like 12 in total.
Okay. I would take the 6 of the herbal ones.
6?
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, for you, that will be 45 gold.
She just kind of like opens up her little leather purse and counts it out for him.
Wonderful. So he takes the gold and passes over each of your herbal healer kits. And there you are. Now, is there anything else that I can do for you fine folk?
Reggie takes the... Sorry.
Parak looks over to Anara, and Anara's with us, right?
Yeah,
Jeez.
Anara's there. She's just, I think
I'm
you
just
were
in the
just...
back listening to everything.
Yeah, I think you said that you were just
Making mental
browsing
notes.
things last time.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that I'll have a chance to kind of talk a little bit.
Inara will look up from the area that she's browsing. She'll look at Mikael and say, "By any chance, you wouldn't have any journals, would you? Empty ones?"
Empty journal? I'm sure I can muster something up for you. What kind of style are you looking for?
Say again.
What kind of style are you looking for? Is there?
Oh, I'm alright with anything really.
He kind of takes a moment and looks at you, and kind of nods, and then disappears into the back for a moment. Another moment passes. A few more. A couple of minutes pass. And then striding out of the back, holding a beautifully leather-bound journal, is Mikael. Here you go, my dear. He hands it over, and as you get a better look at it, you see that it has his mark on the front of it, but it's embossed in this beautiful kind of purple leather, the likes of which you've never actually seen before. Looking at the leather itself, it looks like it is actually purple. It hasn't been dyed or anything like that. It is just purple.
Nara takes a look at it in shock and just goes, "Wow, this is actually very beautiful. I really like this." This is gonna be perfect.
Well, my dear, I thought you might have an eye for detail and for beauty, so I thought I'd whip something up for you. And he kind of gives you a wink before heading back over to the bar, to the till.
So while everything's kind of going on, Parak's still kind of standing there. He's kind of stirring in his thoughts, and he starts to think. He's like, he keeps for whatever reason he keeps thinking about this underbelly, these nefarious, this the not so legal side of the world, the realm of the world, and he decides to kind of speak up once kind of everything dies down and everybody's made their transactions, and ask, if somebody were to potentially be interested in some of these not so legal areas, where would one go to find that?
Good
Well,
question.
typically for different goods, different bits and pieces, you tend to look in the market for different things. I'd say that'd be a pretty good start. But of course, don't forget, you do have discount here. And he kind of gives you a little wink.
All right.
Where would which way the market would be?
If you head north, it's up towards the north ward there. And he gives you an address, and it's just off the main thoroughfare. So if you're looking at the map on roll 20, it's right around there. It's just kind of west
Northward.
of where the north ward is. You know what? I can actually put a little marker on that. There you go.
Oh,
That is like the tiniest little marker. It blends in
zoom
like
in.
Let me
blends
see if
in
I can
so
change
perfectly.
the colours of it then.
Enhance, enhance.
Oh god, I'm struggling to actually click on it now.
Roll 20, rolls it again.
Yeah. Okay, let me try this. Haha. Okay. Let's go with bright green, filled with green. There you go. Is that a bit clearer to see?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me do the same with this one over here then. Bright
Trade ward
green
is
filled
where
with
we're
green.
at.
Yes, so you are currently at the green marker on the trade ward, which is the the unknown arcanum. Up north there is the market that he was just speaking of. As I've described before, the trade ward and the south ward definitely the fancier parts of the city. Kind of the more north you go, the slightly more run-down parts of the city are there. The north ward. The buildings themselves are sturdy and solid, but some of them are slightly ramshackle and not perfectly maintained. You'd more find kind of labourers and such, kind of the working class of the city, as it were, found more in the North Ward.
Okay. Right.
Let's
Well,
change this music up as well.
that seems to
Let's-
be a direction to go to.
Yeah, so I think with that, I don't think there's any other things that we need to buy at the moment. Looking
Wonderful.
over to,
Well, you know where I am.
I appreciate because I just want to apologize. I know I've not been the most friendliest of the group, but I apologize if I came off that way.
No, please. It's quite alright. We all have our own little ways of approaching groups and dealing with people. I understand.
Like,
So-
just perks an eyebrow at that and just. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Or Mikhail? Mikhail.
Mikhail. Michael, on the
I
other
will
hand,
be-
is still stood, enraptured by Mikhail.
Yeah. Just hasn't even said a word.
Yeah, like as the three of you go to leave, he kind of just waves a hand like, I'll catch up with you later, as he's just stood staring,
Yeah.
still not
yeah,
speaking.
Yeah.
But yes, he kind of waves you off and says that he'll catch up with you later.
Letty just rolls her eyes at him. Oh my goodness, 3 creatures. And she would like to go and collect the jacket if possible.
Yes, so it's not terribly far to the Citadel, which on the map is Castle Waterdeep. So as you can continue heading into the rest of town there. At this point, I'm pretty sure it's by this point, it's definitely getting to around midday, I'd say. So the city is in full hustle and bustle. The streets are busy. Thankfully, one of you is a Goliath and stands a good head taller than most of the rest of the crowd. So you're able to follow Parok as you all manage to get back to the Citadel. And as you approach and get to the gates, you see 2 familiar guards who are still on duty, who give you a nod. The first one, the one that spoke to you last time, Parok, steps forward again. I believe you are back on business and you have some business to conclude inside.
Yes, sir. We're here to collect a trinket, and then we'll be on our way.
Excuse
well.
me, that is not a trinket. That's a jacket.
He kind of nods, leaving you to discuss and bicker over that as he kind of turns to nod to the other guard as they pull the 2 large doors open, allowing you access. As you head inside, very similar to the scene that you saw a few hours previous, but almost a little busier. The main hall which you step into is absolutely buzzing with activity. As described before, there are various admins and clerical staff that are running around delivering papers, handing out notes. There are different officials kind of walking into different points, having discussions. A lot is going on. But turning to the desk to your side, which you know to be there, you see a familiar face. The receptionist who greeted you not a few hours earlier.
Ah, hello. Evariel? Was it?
Yes, Avariel.
Evariel. Apologies. I've come to collect the jacket that was promised.
Yes, one moment, thank you. And with that, she kind of puts down what she was doing, steps out from behind the desk, and heads off down a corridor very quickly. Within a few moments, you can hear her returning, her footsteps clacking against the kind of, not marble, but very smooth stone that's inlaid throughout the entirety of this place. You can hear the footsteps coming back, and she steps back out with said jacket. She offers it over to you. There you are. Was there anything else that you required, or anything else that you'd like to report to us today?
Could I just please request, if it's not too much trouble for the faceless one, if there's any business regarding Raphael that you would like some help with, we would, or I don't know if the others would join in on this, but I would like to help.
Of course, I believe that was the intention. They were to contact you should any need arise.
Very well, thank you very much.
That's quite alright.
She takes the jacket and just pulls it on herself.
Wonderful. Well, she gives you nods. If there is anything else that I can do for you today, please let me know. But otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day in the city of Waterdeep. And kind of almost immediately turns, forgetting you're there, and just continues on with her paperwork.
Out of character, like a true customer service agent.
Yup. She knows what her job is, and she's dedicated to it.
So, I don't know if you guys are going to the market, but that sounds a place of interest to me.
Rock kind of nods and looks over and at the two and says, "Yeah, I think we should go over to the market and keep our
Are
eyes and
you
ears
doing this,
open."
sorry, in or outside of the citadel? Have you stepped back out again now, I'm
Out,
guessing?
outside of the citadel.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
No, that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, outside, like where there are no guards around and no like sneaky people. And I mean, yeah, if we're going to go to a place that is considered to be illegal, then yeah,
Yeah, no, that is.
Might as well
I
talk
mean,
outside.
about it in a
this market
ethnic element.
itself, from what Mikhail was saying, it is just a market, but he was kind of hinting that it may be a place to start looking. Um,
Yeah,
but as you're kind of discussing this and kind of gathering your bearings there, you do notice a gentleman kind of walking up the path, his eyes locked on Perok. He has a leather satchel hanging to his side, and as he's approaching, he reaches into it and starts fumbling inside of it. Are you Mr. Perok, sir?
I am. May I ask who's calling for me?
Yeah, Don't worry, sir. My name's Roger. I'm just a messenger. I was told to look for a Goliath with a club like that. I got a message for you here. And he pulls a letter out of his bag. There you go, sir.
Rock reaches out, takes the letter.
Thank you very much. Now, on to the next job. And you see he pulls a stone tablet out and starts looking at it. And he turns, kind of looking at the stone tablet, gathering his bearings, and then just disappears off, walking towards another part of the city.
Right. He, he take the opportunity to kind of open up the letter, um, holding it, and just kind of begins to read it.
Okay. So, the letter. Well, firstly, as you go to open it, you notice the symbol that's used for the wax seal. It is of your friend and mentor, Zardud. Um, as you open up the letter, you find it reads, Perok, I hope this finds you well. I know of the excitement of last night, and left you to your own initiative today. If you and your new friends find time, and you would still like to meet the soldiers who fought at my side in the stories I told, we are currently in the shallow puddle. Your mentor and friend, Zardud. And there is actually an address that leads to the shallow puddle. That is heading in the opposite direction, however, that is back down in the south ward, the fancier part of town.
Rock, after reading the letter, he kind of turns to the two and says, "So, it seems like my teacher and mentor has asked to to potentially join him in potentially some training exercises and meet some unique individuals who were part of the military and the trained guard. I know we were talking about going to the market, but would either of you be interested in coming with me to meet these individuals? Maybe there's some information we can kind of gather."
you then know the city well.
Perok, you would know that many of these people are soldiers of the city and will have lived here for an extremely long time.
Yeah. So yeah, these are the trained guards in City Watch. They've been over this city from top to bottom. They know basically probably everything there is to know, if I had to guess.
Very well. In that case, we can go and meet them. For Letty, yeah, she would like to go to the market more, but if she thinks that these individuals have some information and would be able to guide them a bit more precisely, then yeah, that sounds like a better idea.
Then Rock looks over to Anara. How about you?
Oh yeah, I'm off. We're going.
All right, I think that settles it. We got the address here, so and then he kind of looks up and realizes he doesn't know any of the street names. I think we're gonna need to find a cart or somebody to lead us there, because I don't know.
I don't think I know either. Well, looks like we're gonna have to look for help.
So, what are you doing?
Parak's kind of looking up and kind of looking around, seeing if he can hear like any maybe horses, or maybe he can hear like a cart or something. And
You
does
do
he?
certainly hear and see various carts as you are outside the front of the citadel currently. So, kind of right there at Castle Waterdeep. There is quite a lot of the main thoroughfare that passes through this area, so you are seeing various different carts that are heading in various different directions. Are you specifically looking for like a cart driver like you had when you entered the city?
Yes.
Okay, make me a perception check for me for that one.
Oh Lord.
I can do it if you
Uh, let me roll first and see, because
Yeah, we'll see how Parok does.
which one is that? Is that wisdom? Or no,
Yeah,
it's
so
perception.
it's just under a skill. You should be able to just click on the perception. It should do the roll. Oh,
Eh,
Ooh.
it's a lot of horses. There's a lot of carts. Unfortunately, you rolled a 2 on that one. It's a lot of people. Big city.
yes.
Letty just looks at Perk and oh my goodness, how have you even survived until this far? Is there anyone walking past?
Yeah, so there are various people that are walking past. You'd be able to stop anyone without kind of any kind of hindrance.
Okay, so whoever is like nearest, I would go like, "Oi, could you help us, please? We
Okay,
need to go to this address. Where do we need to go?"
yeah, so walking past at that point in time, it was a couple. Both of them are kind of in not quite as fine clothes as some of the people that you do see around. Much more basic clothing. Both of them are human. The guy has kind of short, dark hair that's kind of pulled and slicked back a little bit, and the woman has kind of dark brown kind of hair, straight hair, leads kind of down past her shoulders. And the guy speaks up. Yeah?
We have this address, and she just grabs the letter off Perk. Where do we need to go? Could you please direct us?
And he kind of reaches out hesitantly to take the letter and look at the address. So, you want to head that way till you get to the plinth, and then you'll see one of the main thoroughfares that leads all the way south, towards the south wards. So you keep going down that way. Once you go past, and he gives you a couple of different points and things to look out for as you're heading down through the city. So you definitely do feel a little bit more prepared. You've got some kind of landmarks and things to look out for where you need to turn. And yeah, you kind of hands back the letter. Hope
That's
you find
great.
the place.
Thank you. See, Brooke, that's all you needed to do. And then she just starts going off in a direction.
Okay, bye. And they kind of just look at each other a little confused, and then carry on.
Heraclius and goes, "She always does this to me," and then just kind of turns it. He's trying to like play the fool for the scene, and then
Yeah.
just kind of walks with them, walks with her.
Okay, so who
And Nara
is
just falls behind, not saying anything.
who is leading the way?
I think Letty at this point is just like,
Yes.
she's going in a direction, and that's
Okay,
where
cool.
she's going.
I'm going to ask you to make a survival check for me to see if you can keep your bearings with what you've been told.
Is it just her or all of us?
I'll say that someone can assist which will give you advantage on the roll.
Ooh, is someone existing?
Yeah, if one of you two wants to assist, you can.
I mean, I don't blame
So
you if you don't. Okay.
But like out of character, Kat, what's your survival stat?
+4.
He's
Okay, then yeah, you're better to assist than me.
With
hear him.
assisting, you don't actually have to do anything. It's like an action you take, and then it gives the other person who's making the check advantage.
Oh, okay.
So even if
Oh.
you're not prepared in skill, you can still be there to help someone. You know, someone's making a medicine check to save someone's life who's just been stabbed. You might not be trained in medicine, but you can be there to hold the things, put pressure where told to, and things like that, which just assists in the overall outcome. So you can always aid with any skill if you're around. There might be times where I say that it's not possible, specifically if it's like magic based, and some of the less magically inclined of you are like, oh, I'll assist with that. I'll be like, unfortunately, because it is like calling upon knowledge of magic, it isn't something that you'd know about. But that's like only a specific example. Most of the time, you can assist with pretty much anything. So yeah, you're able to continue with that with advantage there, Letty.
So I rolled twice and I got 10 both times. So it's going to be 14.
14. Okay. So as you get to the plinth, heading into the trade ward, you turn south following the path. You feel fairly confident that you've gone the correct way, as you see that you are currently on the main thoroughfare leading down towards the south ward. Now, this part of the walk does take a good little while. It takes a good 20 minutes or so to get down to the next part. What I will say is I'm going to ask for another survival check with advantage, just because this is getting into some of the more back lanes of the south ward, so it's not quite as straight as the thoroughfare.
Okay, that's a bit worse. 10.
10 total.
Yeah.
Okay. So looking around.
So was that with? Sorry, was
Karen.
that with
Yeah.
with the assist?
Yeah. The first roll that I had was 2, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
getting all
So,
the bad rolls out
10.
now. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea. But yeah, as you're looking around, you're starting to become a little unsure. You get to one point and you're like, hang on, they said something about the lantern hanging off the building there. Are we supposed to go left or right here? And for a moment, you're kind of unsure. And you take a chance and you say, you know what, I'm pretty sure it's left. So you go left and you continue on. And what I will say is I would like one last survival check.
I will just add for flavor that if she was getting confused obviously at this point, but she wouldn't show it. She would just be
Yeah.
like, no, this is the way, I know the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
Aye, aye, Captain.
continuing to pretend to lead them to exactly where you need to be. One final survival check there.
21.
21, wonderful. So as you continue down the left path, you realise, yep, this was the right way. I can see the old bakery that they pointed out. When you get to the bakery, turn right. So you continue down that path, and soon enough, you find yourself outside of the shallow puddle. As you are approaching, Perrock, you get the sense that something isn't right. When Letty says, we're here, you'd expect to have been able to hear the sounds of laughter, the music being sung along to poorly, and just general celebration. But the building in front of you, this really quite run-down tavern, looks abandoned and dead. There's an uneasy edge to the air as you arrive. You all feel that, and you're not sure what that is.
Rock, are you sure that the letter was from your mentor?
Well, it had his seal, and the only way he would have gotten the seal would have been either on his person or in his belongings. So I would trust that this is correct, but looking at it, it doesn't quite feel right. I think if we decide to go in, then just to be on the safe side, uh, we might be prepared for maybe some drunks. Best case scenario.
Be
He's
prepared.
he's
Ha!
like
Nah, you don't need to be prepared. You're fine. You're fine.
he,
Says the DM that kind of like beelined us here. Okay. Very well. Inara, be
And
on the
I,
lookout.
oh, okay.
and so while we're kind of talking about it for a moment, Barack's like, yeah, I'll go and
Raz is
he-
back.
he'll go
Yes,
and
I've just seen that.
get ready to open the door.
Wonderful. Well, before we do that, we're gonna take a super
Michael is
quick
just
5 minutes. Well, yeah, I'm gonna quickly catch Raz. Just catch him up. If he's obviously he's just finished work, so he might be exhausted. In
Yeah,
which case,
no,
I'm not gonna
absolutely.
push him to come join. If he wants to, I'll catch him up and then figure something out and quickly do like a segue over. Be like, so Michael, this is what you were doing, and now off you go again.
Right,
So yeah,
so are we taking 5?
yeah, we're gonna take 5 here, folks.
Okay.
So let me just yes, back onto that screen there. Because I actually don't have a break screen, I need to quickly make one. Let's switch that.
And with that, I'm going to step out for just a moment.
Oh, good, buddy, all good.
Okay.
And 2 seconds, folks. Let's do. There we go. Back in a moment, folks. Hey, folks, we are back. Thanks for holding on there. I can make that disappear. So, before we do get into the tension of whatever is happening with Letty, Parok, and Anara, we're going to segue back over to Michael, who, until but a moment ago, has been staring rather gawkily at Mikael, the Protector Azamar, owner of the Unknown Arcanum. Not long, or just a few moments pass after the rest of the group leave the establishment, before he turns to you. Michael, would you like a cup of tea?
That would be fantastic.
He smiles wide and invites you into one of the back rooms, which has a couple lounge style chairs, kind of really laid back vibes, with a coffee table in the middle. He brings over 2 mugs which he places down, and both of which are filled with tea.
I take the tea with the utmost care in my sort of fragile like hands, sort of give a nod and say, "You are most generous and kind," and take a sip.
No, that is quite alright. As you take a sip, you feel a warmth spreading through you. A comfortable, loving warmth. You gain 5 temporary hit points.
Oh, this is a long lost art. The marking of a great teasman. Wait, no, that's not the right word. Teasman? I don't know.
Brewer is
Brewer!
what I've tended to heard before.
Indeed. And that sort of like, you see like a little bit of blush of life into his face as he sort of, he's been happy all this time because he's just finding things that are making him want to stay. And sort of just goes, So, Mikhail.
Yes, my friend. Oh.
That was you, not me.
Discord, are you okay? I wish I had a recording of what just happened on my screen on Discord. Discord literally just had like a stroke, and it's back. Okay.
The
Has
DM
the
has
stream
been
dropped
silenced.
out? Has the dream?
The D12 reigns all.
has the stream dropped out? Are we still here, folks?
We're still there. I think we are still there.
Okay, cool. It might have
Yes.
just been Discord. I don't think it was my internet then.
Discord having a funny 5.
Yep. Oh well.
So sorry, Mikhail.
Yes, my friend.
How long have you been in Waterdeep?
3 centuries, give or take a decade or so.
And are you related to any such pantheon I may know?
And he kind of stops and kind of appraises you for a moment. You can feel his gaze, and you know that he's looking past kind of just the surface level.
I'll allow him.
Wonderful. He takes a moment, kind of ponders. Not the one you are most familiar with, I'll admit.
Not many people are.
But one of the main pantheons in which is celebrated here within Waterdeep. And you would know that as the Faerunian pantheon. Just kind of the typical one for Faerunian 5e.
I shall not poke any more if that is not something you wish to talk about.
Oh no, please, if you have further questions, I'm more than happy to talk. I will admit I am slightly surprised. Mortals don't tend to want to look further than their own pantheon, their own faith. It's refreshing to see one that is willing to hear of others.
I do not have the luxury of being single-minded in my task.
Yes, quite. I can see you have many great things ahead of you.
And for as long as I can go, perhaps we'll see. But this tea, so take the rest of it, and be like, now, I take out my tattered book, the one that will eventually lead to hopefully being my ritual book.
Yes.
It's old and just a little bit shaggy and not really worth much at the moment, but in future I hope it shall be, if my memory serves me right. However, if I do remember, my gear doesn't typically restore itself. Are you willing to rebind this for me?
He smiles. Anything for a friend. Would you like me to do it now?
I would like it to be done with care, so... And I sort of lose that sort of old manish look for a moment. And take a proper stare at Mikhail, go, with the utmost care. If that is okay with you. I do not mind how long it will take.
Of course. And he takes it from you, and leaves you sat.
Almost reluctant, but then let's go.
Yeah, he gives you, he doesn't like pull on it when you're reluctant. He kind of waits for you to release it, takes it. Just pats you on the shoulder, and then heads into the room next door. You notice the cup that you're drinking from seems to be refilling itself up to a certain point.
Do not question it, keep drinking. This is tasty, tasty, tasty tea.
Refillable teacup. I mean, this is probably one of the main sources of magical artifacts and trinkets and odds and ends in the city. So, you know, man's got to have some of his own product just around and about to help make his life easier.
And as Mikhail's doing what I believe he's doing, I'm just going to quickly cover my eyes and detect magic around me.
You get you get a very, very strong sense of magic all around you. There are various items of power that you can sense around. And from the direction that Mikhail went, you can certainly sense and feel a powerful celestial energy. Almost so much so that there seems to be not just him, but that room seems to have a little funky energy going on.
I see this place for what it is, and it is beautiful. And I just take it off my eyesight because it's probably blinding still.
A little bit, yeah.
I sort of just rub my eyes a bit. It's going, oh, no, I need to stop doing that in places I know are filled with magic. Oh, sort of blinking out magical sunspots.
Yep. No, not fun. But yeah. It's actually only a relatively short amount of time that passes, only about half an hour or so. If you were looking for a short rest, or you do benefit from a short rest currently, you would gain it back.
I haven't spent anything.
No, I didn't think you had, but I figured I'd mention it just because where you are.
Magic is at will.
Yes,
and
because it is one of your invocations.
This is celestial. Well, it's fiendish sight, but we'll be calling that celestial sight.
Oh, celestial sight, 100%. But yes, after around half an hour, you sense, even with detect magic having passed now, you sense a little surge of that celestial energy as he walks through the doorway and steps back into the room that you're in, and handing over a book that you recognise, a memory sparking in your mind, prim and proper, restored back to a beautiful condition, but blank and without power currently. you find your ritual book.
Oh, I remember this. It's surging a bit in the old brain as I put my hands out for it.
And he will happily hand it over.
And I sort of look at it and sort of get a big old wide smile and sort of just give it a like old sniff and just go
You can
hold
see-
it closer to my chest a little.
Yeah, you can see that it is still the same book, just restored, the same pages, but you get that fresh, new book smell from it now, once again. It seems ready, and as you hold it close to your chest, you feel it eager to be able to recall knowledge, to be able to summon it back. And as you're holding that close to your chest, Mikhail reaches behind him and pulls out a vial of ink.
Oh yes, I needed the ink.
Aye, my friends, I thought you might. And he hands it over to you.
Takes it and just look up. How much?
Please, anything for friends.
I sort of tap my nose and go, well then, hopefully I can do you a return favour at some point.
I'm sure even just bringing back tales of your journeys will be wonderful enough. Speaking
shall.
of, do you feel that? And as he says that, you feel kind of this tugging sensation in the back of your minds. Something's not right. You're here for a reason. You have a purpose in this city. And right now, whilst you're just conversing with Mikhail, you're not serving that purpose. You are needed somewhere within the city.
I just sort of look at Mikhail and go, duty calls.
Aye.
And gulp more tea.
You wish to meet with the rest of your friends, I'm assuming.
I feel like something is about to change some fates.
Aye, well it is always easier to be able to connect those that are already tethered by fate. And he clicks his fingers, and with that, your vision instantly turns black, then white. And your eyes resettle. You find yourself stood in the street. You have your new friends, Parok, Anara, and Lethista, stood to your sides, in front of an abandoned, rundown tavern. A sign outside that says The Shallow Puddle. At that point, I'm going to drag us back into the other chat there.
Fair.
Okay, let's, where are we?
Don't
I'm sure
know.
there's, like,
Actually.
Hello!
I'm sure.
I have no
Hello.
idea.
Hey,
Oh,
we
come
are
back.
back. So, as all of you are stood outside of the front of that building, that sense of uneasiness across you, Parok, Letty, and Ara. There is...
Wait, are we back at stream?
Yes, yeah, no, stream's back over here as well.
So
Oh,
can-
okay.
If we,
Okay.
if we get a moment, how does Michael introduce himself? Like, how does he come?
yeah.
I was just getting to that.
Okay.
So the three of you are stood outside of this, what looks like rundown tavern. That sense of uneasiness, and there is a subtle flash of light that happens just behind you all. And as you kind of turn instinctively, stepping out of that subtle, almost comfortable light, is Michael. Blinking his eyes, refocusing, looking like he was slightly blinded. How you doing, Michael?
Oh, now that's handy. I'm going to have to ask how he does that. Oh, hello.
Like to make an entrance, do you?
Oh, not well. Some sort of looking at my rack and go, actually, yes, but that wasn't intentional. That was Mikhail's doing, not me.
Well,
I feel like something's about to happen. So we both did. So he thought it'd be best to send me here.
So out
I was-
of character, real quick, is this like a flash of light, like a lightning strike of flash, or is it like a
Like a
slow
glowing-
glow and like dissipation?
It's more of a flash. and kind of from the origin point, that's where Michael appeared.
So, okay, so back into character, Parag, like, seeing this flash out of his peripheral, immediately kind of pops up, turns around, and, like, grabs his club, ready to throw down.
It's like, oh, it's only the old man Satyr. It's okay.
This is what I probably the response to that is, oh, not again, please. I have done nothing to harm any of you. This time he's saying it in a more jokingly manner, and he just goes, I would focus on this rundown tavern more. Why are you here?
The real
Michael is
question
trying
is,
to get
how
a
did
bit of
you get here?
PTSD.
It was just, it might Mikhail, we figured you needed help. Oh, no, you definitely need help for some reason. I don't know why. Why are we in front of Creepy Tavern?
Well, do you want I don't know if there'd be cliff notes in D&D. The short and sweet is, we got a letter from my buddy. He said to meet him here with his troops and his crew that he used to work with, and we're realizing that this may or may not be the situation. So we're about to open the door and figure it out.
Okay, well, I'll just keep quiet and let you deal with it. And if things go wrong, I can keep an eye on you. Or
Okay.
scare them to the hell. Who knows?
What, with your
So-
maracas?
Oh, yes. I pull
I
it out.
mean,
I pull it out. I'm about to shake it, but realize it's a bad idea. I go, oh, yes, I'll do that later.
Rock's like, well, these are soldiers, and so the music might be a welcome addition, but let's see how they're doing first.
Probably not very
Lexi
well.
kind of like
if it's
gestures to Barak. Well, you first.
So Rock kind of looks and goes, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna go on and do the thing, and then turns and reaches towards the door and begins to open it.
Okay, so the door opens without resistance. I'm assuming you will step inside. There is no evident, like obvious danger straight away from opening door kind of thing.
Okay, so yeah, I guess we.
Okay. As each of you steps into the room there, you see before you what looks like it would have been still serviceable, although run down. The front room of a tavern or bar. However, this room doesn't quite look right. Let me just... As you look around, there is blood everywhere. You see various different people within. Some lying on their sides, evidently dead. A couple on their backs, breathing their last moments of life. And as you step further into the room, can I have a perception check from everybody?
Oh wait, no, I'm gonna roll low.
Oh,
Oh no.
15.
Okay. 15 for Letty. And an arrow on a 14. Okay, so, Letty, as you step into the room, you see, as I mentioned, various different people that are kind of scattered throughout the rooms, bodies of people that have been attacked and deceased. You do notice a lot of them seem to be wearing the same insignia. It looks like some official crest of something. And as you look around and step further into the room, you do notice in the far left corner there's someone propped up on the couch, looking like they're in better condition than the rest of the people in the room, but still not doing great. And both of you kind of notice each other and make eye contact at the same time, and he kind of just looks over this look of pain and surprise at someone else being here on his face.
Letty motions to Perok. Do you know this person? Because she doesn't want to approach a person
Yep.
in this massacre.
Perok, now that he has pointed out to you, you do indeed recognize this man. More than recognize him, he is someone very familiar to you. That is your mentor, your trainer, your friend, Zardud, lying on the couch, having sustained a couple of nasty-looking wounds. He kind of slowly starts propping himself up, looking over to you all, barely seeing kind of in his haze of pain, not really seeing anyone, just seeing figures moving around at the doorway. Fuck you all, I'll take you all on.
Rock speaks up and says, hey, yo, man, listen, it's me. You know, you sent a letter, right? And he makes his way over and gets ready to take one of the health kits that he recently just bought and was getting ready to dress a wound.
And kind of just hearing your voice, he kind of just stops for a moment, kind of resting, and you see the short swords in his hand slip and fall to the ground. Teres. Bloody good timing, lad. Bloody good timing. And he looks evidently in a lot of pain. You head over with the health pack in hand. Letty, as you go to see Perok apply this, you know that actually you have the skills to be able to assist with this. Currently, you don't have the full healer's feat, but I'd say that by this point you will have done enough training to be able to assist in stabilizing wounds and things like that.
So, I'm okay to go over and give him a hand?
Yeah, no, 100%. You can't use the healer's feat currently, but you'd be able, because you've done so much training towards it, towards that feat, you would have some knowledge on how to be able to help. So yeah, what I'll say is, if you are going to go over to help, I'm assuming you are?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So, Letty's reasoning for this would be that she's seen Perok to be a bit gullible, but seemingly a good person. So she would go and help the person that would be important to him.
That's fair. So, with the help of the two of you, you managed to give him some herbs to chew down on to ease the pain, Letty. You're able to kind of pick out the better herbs to be able to help with such. There's a couple of herbs that you kind of break and crumble in your hands and use to stop any infections from getting into his wounds, whilst Perok, you're actually using the bandages as such to be able to kind of stabilise and stop any wounds from getting worse. What I'll say is Perok, mark one use off of one of the healer kits there.
So how many uses is per kit?
You get 10 uses per kit.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize this when I got sick, so
Yeah, no,
we're
100%.
covered for life now.
It will definitely cover you for a while. You've got a lot there. But it means that at any point, if you need to help a large group of people, you've got supplies and stuff. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh, don't say that. Never good to hear that from a DM.
I mean, I've always said, like,
Dangerous
the story
effect.
is shaped by you guys. I never know what's going to happen. So, but yes, Letty and Perok, as the two of you are tending to his wounds, Zardud speaks up. Fuckers. Some of them turn on the rest of us. Perok, there might still be some here.
Dude, Parag kind of listens and says, "What do you mean? What happened? Was it some of the old, like some of the city watch, or was it like mercenaries, bandits?"
So, Zardud is just shaking his head, kind of lost for words. Some of the old guard. I don't know what was going through their heads, but some of them turned on us. I don't get it. They tried to put poison in our drinks, and for those that survived that, well, they drew blades and slashed at us. Some of them ran towards the back. I don't know if they've left.
Okay, so these are, we can assume that they're armed and dangerous. They basically anybody in a suit of armor we should be suspect of.
Yeah, that and more. And kind of
Okay.
as you're talking, you notice that he is kind of regathering his strength. Um, you know, in mechanical terms, if he were a fighter, for example, he would be using something like second winds to kind of get ready to. You can tell that he's getting ready to actually continue on with this, even though not terribly long ago he was in a pretty bad state.
Hearing all
Okay.
this, Letty would draw out her bow and get herself ready, basically.
Wonderful. Whilst the two of you are doing all of that, Michael, Inara, what are the two of you up to there?
Investigating the crest on some of these corpses.
So the crest that you can see, you actually recognise it. Another memory sparks in your mind. That's happening a lot since you've arrived back in the city. But you remember this at the time of you remembering it. This was a fairly new mark. This was being used by one of the regiments of the soldiers of Waterdeep. At the time, they were dealing with the ogre invasions to the north, and were actually still looking to construct the giant gates that you've now seen. At the time, this was actually used for more of a specialist group of soldiers, kind of more elite soldiers that would deal with dangerous situations. So better trained than your common foot soldier. You would recognise it as such, and I assume it's probably still been used for similar purposes. So yeah, soldiers of Waterdeep.
So is that what their name is? Yeah.
Yes, so that particular group, I don't think I had a name for them, but called them the 5th Regiment.
Sort of stand up from taking this crest, and sort of look to Parok and to Letty and be like, "This group was, well, emphasis on the was, is a group called the 5th Regiment that are elite Waterdeep soldiers. They've been around for quite some time. It's hard to believe they would just attack you and
As you're
unless they
calling over to that, you do notice this gentleman that Parok and Letty have gone to help also carries the same mark, the same branding.
Oh, I see. There must be some foul play at work. Perhaps further investigation into anything that might be alive would be a good idea.
I think we're gonna have to just try moving through the building, seeing who and what we can find. See if there's any survivors.
Inara,
Yes.
do you want to have a look up through that door? I'll keep your back watched.
Oh. Sorry about that. Very well then.
Okay, you're talking about the door in the northeast corner, top right there. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So, sorry, what were you saying there?
So just as for a moment, Parag kind of he heard Michael say, kind of look around and that. So Parag kind of glances around. Is he able to see anybody who is still alive, who has the chance of living?
Looking around the rest of the room, unfortunately, seeing the condition that the last few that are currently still alive are in, it's not looking good. You feel a tugging sensation from a nightmare that you've had before, Parok. This isn't too dissimilar from that.
Okay.
Make an insight check for me, Parok.
Insight. High numbers, no whammies.
14. Okay. This, although completely different circumstances, what has happened here almost feels a little familiar to you. This was a sneak attack. This was one side caught the other completely unaware. And it was a slaughter. And you, knowing what you do, recognize that almost straight away, kind of as soon as you've dealt with helping Zardud, who's obviously harmed, and you take in the scene around you, that kind of hits you like they just came in and caught them all unaware.
Okay. Or kind of having this kind of moment of like realization, like the memories begin to kind of flicker of way back when he was young, the scenes that he witnessed, and the bodies laying down, everything that he's able to notice. He gets this kind of this like sinking sensation in his stomach, and then realizes that this, it may not be the same person, but it's the same feeling. And he speaks up and tells everybody, he goes to stand guard and be ready to fight, because these guys are brutal. So he's gonna, yeah.
Okay. So yes, that message is passed around before you open that door there, Inara. Is there anything that anyone wants to prepare or do before Inara opens the door there?
So out of character, for Zardud, if you had to say like what would his health, like hit points, look like right now?
Make a medicine check for me,
Oh God.
and I'll
Big
just
bucks,
kind of
no
give you a
whammies.
general. Yeah, I'll just give you. Didn't roll great. It's only a 6. But what I will give you.
He can stand, but he ain't going nowhere.
I mean, he is a solid guy. Like he's pretty. I'm trying to think of the right words to describe him. Like you can tell when you look at him, like he is tough. Like you can put him through the ringer, and he will be able to stand up and carry on. He is probably at least, well, between a quarter and a half. I'll give you of his health.
Okay.
I won't give you anything more specific because unfortunately you did roll pretty low on that one.
Yeah. So Paraka looks at Zardud and says, "Hey, how about you come with us? You stay in the back, watch our backs, and then we'll clear this building like we did back in the old days."
Stay in the back. Oh, welp. You've got a lot to learn, Teres. You will never keep me back. Come on. And as he says that, and the two of you go to step forward, I'll say at that point that's when Inara opens the door there.
Can I just ready an action?
Yes.
So ready action trigger is if anyone attacks Inara, I'm going to cast a spell.
Okay, cool.
So the maraca is in hand and looks like I'm ready to shake at any time.
Lovely stuff. So, first thing I'll do is remove that. I'll remove the door as it's now open. And, hang on. As you open the door, Inara. There are two figures on the other side. I'll give you a quick description of the room first. You see on the other side of the room, it seems to be more of an office-style room for the tavern. There seems to be kind of tables with various papers and notes, some gold and some coins and such scattered on them. And the two individuals that you see stood in front of you are sporting, of course, the same clothing and such as the ones in the front room. And they are rifling through various things on the actual desk itself. As you open the door, they kind of both stop, surprised, and turn to see you. At this point, I'm going to ask everybody to roll initiative for the first combat of the campaign. So as they kind of turn to you, you see them reaching to draw their weapons.
How do we roll initiative?
So it is on your character sheet as a skill. It should be up the top there.
All of this bodes so well already. Oh my gosh, we got
9,
7, 8,
8,
9,
7.
and 10. I got 7.
You got 7. Okay, well,
I got 7.
let me quickly roll for these two.
Perfect.
They let them get 6 and 5.
Yeah, that would
I
be
need to roll
nice.
for these 3, even, actually, because
We can't see 3, so we didn't know that.
no, you've got the 2 that you can see in the room, but you've also got Zardude with you.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
You
That
think
guy.
he's backing down from a fight? Ha! Okay, so the 2 of them. Okay.
Would I be allowed to move myself nearer to the counter?
Yes, yeah, so you can, I was guessing that you'd probably be near the counter. I was gonna, now that I have initiative, I was gonna say, place yourselves roughly where you would have been. Parok and Zardude will have just walked over. Obviously Inara was stood right in front of the door, Michael was stood back behind the bar with a spell ready. And then they're inside the room. So yeah, you're much closer over to the bar, Letty. So you can move from there on your turn. So first up, it is actually one of these figures. He looks to the one to his left and goes, "Fuck! There's more of them! Quick, we got to deal with them!" And turns and starts running towards you, Inara. 5, 10, 15. And before he strikes you, Michael, I believe you had a ready action.
I do.
Wonderful.
I see this coming. The sort of old memories awaken, and protective sort of nature awakens in Michael and goes, "It's too soon for that." As I start to shake the maraca once, but it's not the sound anyone's heard before. It's darker. It's nasty sounding. It's fearful. As the gentleman that is attacking Inara begins to hear in their mind celestial words that sound terrifying, but those who can understand it mean frail, doomed, flee, as I cause fear upon them. They need to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Fantastic. Okay. Nope. That was a 5 that I rolled. I don't think even with bonuses they'd be beating your DC there.
They are fearful of me. They return that saving throw at the end of their turn, but they are scared of me, so any attacks with me in their eyesight is now at disadvantage.
Nice.
Okay.
If they wish to attack at all. As
Yeah.
this very fearful, the satyr behind them is just speaking a very ancient language at them.
Yep. Well, let's see. What does he do? Yeah, no, he does still attack. So what I'm going to say is, of course, he has disadvantage, and he's only going to attack with his main hand. He does have a wicked-looking dagger in his left hand, but he's kind of... Michael has caught him so off guard and, like, struck such fear into him, he almost forgets that he's holding that dagger. as he takes a half-hearted swing at Anara there. I don't think that's a hit. That's a 13. Your armor class, I believe, Anara, is 16?
Yep.
Wonderful. So, he kind of comes over. This happens right in front of him. Michael starts channeling this celestial power into these words. And you can see that because he's right in front of you, Anara, he is shook to his core by this. And he kind of just swings wide at you with his short sword, but it's incredibly easy to just simply sidestep and watch as the blade sails through the air and completely misses. At the end of his turn, next up is Zardu. So, seeing this one charging forward towards Anara, gripping his own short sword in hand, he steps forward and yeah, he just kind of runs forward, getting ready to take a swing or two at this guy. So, Zardu's stats it was that, cool. No, just normal roll. I'm taking a photo of that one. That's 20.
Yee.
So out of nowhere, once mortally wounded, now feeling better than ever, Zardude pops up next to Anara and just goes to spear this guy in the throat with the short sword. Let's see how much he actually wipes the floor with this guy. Where's my other d6? It's gone. There. Whoo! So Zardu kind of jumps forward, not quite catching the throat of the guy in front of Anara there, but kind of spearing the blade into his shoulder as the guy kind of turns away. Zardu kind of pulls back, realizing that this guy is still up. He then turns the flat of his blade and goes to almost punch him in the face using the hilt of the blade. And that, again, that's a hit. Yep. So yeah, that'll do it. So the faceless attacker, potentially called Dave. Dave, after the first strike, turns and sees Zardu charging him, gets stabbed in the shoulder, kind of spins back, reeling in pain from that, just to kind of glance up as Zardu kind of just raises a hand and punches him square in the face, nose breaking, blood spurting down onto the floor. He hits the ground, unconscious. So I can mark him with that. So, that is Zardu's turn. He's going to just take a step back behind the wall, kind of leaning against it slightly, breathing a little heavily. Obviously, this isn't the first fight that he's had tonight, so, you know. But before he does, actually, he scoops up the blade that has just fallen from that guy's hands.
Dave's hands?
So he is now dual-wielding short swords.
Legend.
I mean, he's a well-trained soldier. He's like, well, extra sword, buddy. But yes, after his turn, Michael, you're up next, bud.
Seeing as the source of fear, as I sort of just go, Let's see. 15. Good evening. As I begin to bring and channel forth some energy into the staff, I'd be like, "You so happen to your friend? I would perhaps surrender." As I shout once more in Celestial, purify, as I do Sacred Flame upon them.
Okay. So it is a dex save for Sacred Flame, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's 13. It's DC.
No, that's a 1. I'm like, yeah, I'll introduce the players to the concepts of combat and have it be, you know, a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad. And then the NPC comes in with a nat 20, and the monsters are dying off with nat 1s.
4 points of radiant damage as their skin would be like prickled.
Okay, so yeah, you see him reel back from that as kind of it catches him. He kind of glances up and goes to kind of step back as he sees this sacred burning light above him beginning to descend. But he stumbles and almost falls as it catches him square across the face, across one shoulder, leaving this nasty burn that's left by this divine light.
I'll let the whippersnappers do the rest.
Nice, I love it. So is that your turn there?
Hey, it's my turn,
Wonderful. So up next, Nara.
Oof.
So you've got a couple of options for things that you can do in combat here. If I quickly pull up your character sheet. You have your quarterstaff. You can use your bonus action to cast Shillelagh on it, which means that you're dealing a bit more damage and things like that, don't forget. You do have spells that you can use. When you're looking at a combat like this, you do have to kind of take into account the number of monsters, the number of players. Currently, there's only one monster, as it were, there's only one enemy, whereas there are all of you players ready to go. It may not be worth using an entire spell to be able to fight one person when there's currently 5 of you. It might be worth holding on to spells until perhaps, you know, further down the line if there's more combat and stuff like that. So you do have to consider that, because you only get spells back at the end of each day, or at the start of each day, sorry. But yes, you do have the option to cast Shillelagh, which makes your... is it bonus action for Shillelagh?
It is, I believe.
Yeah. So you'd be able to use your bonus action to cast Shillelagh, which is cantrip, so you don't use any spell slots or anything for it. And then when you use your quarterstaff to fight, you deal a little extra damage because it uses your, I believe it's wisdom, rather than your strength or dex or anything to fight. So that's an option. You could also, being a druid with wild shape, you could look to turn into a beast. Let me have a quick look. I have your beast list set up just as a quick thing here. So you've got a few options if you do want to go down your beast list. What do you think is going to be your best idea currently?
He's wild shape.
Yep. Okay, sweet. So, I've given a couple of recommended combat forms for you. You've got the giant wolf spider, the dire wolf, and the giant hyena. Just as a couple, like 3 that I've thrown on there for lower level stuff. So, whichever one you want, I can grab a link and send it over to you for it.
We'll do dire wolf.
The dire wolf. Okay, sweet. Dire wolves are quite fun. If you have an ally within 5 feet of the enemy that you're attacking, and your ally is still up and kind of fighting, you actually get advantage on attacking, because it's called pack tactics. As long as you've got an ally close enough, you get a bonus to do some fighting.
Cool.
Okay, so I've sent you over those stats there, so it'll tell you kind of what the bonus to hit, what the armor class, and what the health is, and stuff like that. Let me just double check, because you're all a combat wild shape. Yeah, so what you can do if you need to heal as well is you can spend spell slots to heal, because of Circle of the Moon. So because of your subclass, you can heal whilst you're in your wild shape. Was there anything to remind you. No, I think that's it. Let me just grab. I'm pretty sure there's got to be a thing within the free assets for a wolf. Animals. Let's have a look in there. Freebies. No. Come on. Sorry, I didn't realise that there wouldn't be a... There we go. There we go. Let me... direwolf medium or large shape? I can't remember.
Medium, I
Medium.
believe.
Cool. So, what I'll do is I will name plate controlled by Inara. Okay, so I'm just going to move your character to one side, but you should be able to move the wolf, the direwolf form, just around.
No,
as
it's
you
large,
wish.
sorry.
Is it large? Sweet. There you go. Nice big wolf.
Nice.
There you go. So you should be able to move the wolf form around now to get where you need to.
Okie dokie.
So I believe for you it's actually a bonus action to become your wild shape form because you are Circle of the Moon. So that will leave you with your action still, which, if you'd like, you can use to attack.
Then I guess I will attack.
Very nice. So, it'd take, what, 10 foot of movement if you want to move your wolf up to in front of the guy there. And then, let me just check. Direwolf has a +5 to its attack. So if you want to roll a d20 +5, and we will see if you hit its armor class. Okay, so 15 +5, 20. Easily that's a hit. So, the damage for him as well is 2d6 +3. So if you want to roll 2d6, and then we can add the 3 on from here. Oh, nice! So typically, if you're in a direwolf form and you attack something, they also need to make a check to make sure that they stay upright on their feet. This guy doesn't. Because with those 11 points of damage, he is also very much dead. So, the battle lulls. The combat dies down. The guy that is on the floor there is unconscious, not dead. However, the one that you got to there, Inara, did die to the claws and the bite of your dire wolf form.
He went to sleep forever.
Yeah.
Good night.
So, it seems quiet for a moment. What's everyone doing? You are now out of initiative.
Has anyone got any rope or anything to bind the one that got sucker punched?
Yep. Letty just pulls out, what's it called? Like, a pile of rope? No. A cord of rope?
Coil.
Coil, thank you. and throws it over to Michael. Here you go.
Oh, thank you. And I'll go and tie this one up.
Okay.
Letty follows Michael and uses one of the healer kit charges to stabilize him.
What, the man that Michael's tying up?
Yep.
So because the punch that finished him off was non-lethal damage, he is
Okay,
in a stable condition currently.
Okay,
He's not
gotcha.
outright dying. The other one is
he did.
and is dead. So, but yes, no. This one is stable, and he will survive. He will wake up at some point in a few hours' time.
In that case, I will put the heel cut.
By
Put
any
back
chance,
Yep.
is this one got like a belt?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
A belt does seem to be part of the ensemble.
I will turn to Letty and be like, I got a tip for you. If you're tying someone up and you haven't got enough rope to do their legs, just take their belt away. No one can run away with their trousers around their ankles. And I'll take the belt off.
Parag kind of listens to this and's like, oh my god, I've been doing it wrong the entire time.
And yeah, I'll take away the belt. So if they do, they either A are streaking, or two, they will
Running, holding their trousers up.
rolling the trousers up, and it's going to be really obvious to track them because people will be staring.
Yep. No,
And-
that's very, very fair. What is everyone else doing? Letty, I'm guessing you're heading over to where Michael is anyway.
I am. I'm not going to put my bow away. I'm going to remain on guard.
That's fair.
But I am just following along and keeping an eye on everything. Do we hear any other noises from any other of the rooms?
Make a perception check for me. What I'll do is I'm
Oh,
just
I
going to
would
put you
love
at
to.
the doorway there of that room, just so you can see what's inside.
Ooh, that's a 25.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so listening out hard in the moments as the battle dies out, you do definitely hear a scuffling come from the room to the east, and perhaps a noise or two to the room from the north.
West?
West even, not east.
Does
It's
is only
West.
is only Letty hearing this?
Everyone else was busy doing other things. I was
Okay.
about to get over to Parok because I know that he's just headed into the room.
Before he actually goes into that room, I go psst, and then just nod over in a way that I hope he would understand that there's something happening there, and he would approach with caution.
Yep. So Parag, as we can see, he's moved to the door, and you can kind of tell that he's getting ready to just kick the door off the hinges, getting ready to do a breach into the room. He has his shield in his on his offhand, and he has his club in his right, and he's ready whenever the team is ready.
That's fair. Zardud does come and let me just move him. He meets you over at the door, kind of prepping to move into it, kind of thing. Michael, you are finished tying up the individual there, and Ara, you have finished chewing on the face of the man in front of you. Is there anything else that either of you wanted to do?
More nom noms?
I will not hold an action this time because I've done that trick today.
That's fair.
I will wait. I just sort of like as I as I finish tying them up and taking the belt away, look up, and it's about that time I would imagine
Yeah.
the door's being kicked in. So I will see how it goes.
That is
Could
completely
I-
fair. Yep.
Because I heard the noise from that room. Could I ready my bow so when the door opens and there's someone in my eyesight, I would release that arrow?
Yeah. Yeah, so that is called a readied action. So you can
Mhm.
effectively hold a specific action for a trigger. So for you, for right now, that action would be readying an attack with your bow. And the trigger would be seeing someone inside that room. You can still choose whether to trigger it or not at that time. So if you see it's someone in the room but they're innocent, they're on your side, you can choose not to shoot them. Or alternatively, you can choose to trigger it even without the trigger happening. So if you go, okay, well I don't see anyone in that room, but you know something else is happening, I'm just going to fire my bow at that, then you could still choose to do so. But yes, that is a readied action, and that is 100% something that you can do.
In that case, that's what I'm doing.
Wonderful.
Now, I do have a mechanic question.
Yes.
In terms of visibility, when we get ready to breach the door, are we playing it so that the other characters, depending on their positioning, may or may not see enemies based on their cover?
Yes, so that's actually a good point to raise. There is actually a way to kind of calculate whether you can clearly see someone or not. The way that I've been taught, the rule that I've been taught, is you go from one corner of the square that your character's on, and if you can see two corners of another target, you can see enough of them to be able to attack. They may have cover because of what's around, but for example, if there is someone like hidden up here, Anara, who is obviously down here, would still be able to draw a line from that corner. Actually, let me just snap that to corner. That corner there to those two, because once that door's open, you'd be able to see those two corners of the enemy. So as long as one of your corners can see two others of someone else, you would be able to see them. Like I said, depending on what's around, cover then may apply, but as long as you can see just the corner of, or two corners of your enemy that you're targeting, you're good.
Okay.
So even where she is, I think really the only places that would be kind of completely unable to be viewed by Letty would be kind of right up in that corner. I think pretty much from, I mean, if we do...
Yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking, was that like those four...
that is probably the line that Letty has. It's probably the top four kind of squares there that she wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah, those four. Yep.
Yeah, no, 100%. Everything else should be fair game, is what I'd say.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm guessing everyone is prepared. Wonderful. Yep. So, Parok, I'm going to ask you for an athletics check to kick in the door, and Zardud is going to make one as well. His is going to be disadvantaged because he was only recently mortally wounded. Even with that, I think oh my god. I rolled an 18 and a 19. This dude is fucking unstoppable even though he's nearly dead. Okay,
you need
so...
to nerf your NPCs, man.
That isn't even the NPC, that was just my rolls. He has the same bonus to athletics as Parok does. I just rolled an 18 and a 19 at disadvantage.
Swap die with me, huh?
Yeah.
I'll take those die.
Honestly, I wish I had those die tomorrow during my Sunday game. I never do.
I would just like to hit double digits.
So, Parok, you raise your leg and slam your foot heavily, solidly against the lock of the door. But you can feel that it's locked and the door doesn't give way. Half a second later, though, as Zardud's foot connects with the door, it's almost as if the door implodes. Around the lock, where the lock was actually secured, almost just splinters and shatters, and the doors swing open. So, map and backgrounds. There we are, and also I need... I'll move him to there, because he's not going to be on top of those. Boom. Another figure, much like the two that you just saw in the room, kind of turns and sees you, Parok. You can see that they're ready. They also look like they had readied an action. Letty, I am going to let you fire first, because you knew when the door was being kicked in, so you had the advantage over them in that sense. So make your attack for me. It will be at advantage because they're surprised, because they were expecting you to come into the room. They weren't expecting the door to fucking implode. So yeah, you get advantage on the attack roll there.
I didn't actually need the advantage. I rolled 19 plus 8.
Very
so
nice.
That is 27. I'm guessing it
That
hits.
yeah, no, that's definitely a hit. Roll damage for me there.
Then, no, that's not it. Hang on. Which is the D8? Where's my diamond? That's the D. That's the D8. Gotcha.
Hey.
That is 7 plus 4, so 11.
Very nice. So, door implodes. He goes to raise his dagger to throw it, but not before an arrow finds its mark, ripping straight through his throat as he falls down dead, unable to use his readied action. That was very nice. High damage, I loved it. Rip through him.
Brock's just like, oh man.
I'll let you have the next one.
But yes, as you look around the rest of the room, this is some form of storeroom. There are wine barrels, there are bottles of wine, there are bottles of beer. There's all sorts that's being stored in that room there. It looks like the person that you've just killed was kind of rifling through it, trying to find something. Similar to the last two that you had seen in the room that you're all currently in. Before we carry on, I need to nip to lose super quickly, so we are going to take a super quick 5 minute. I've noticed the time as well. Is it worth potentially us coming back to this next week? It is 20 to 12. We've run on longer than I thought we were going to.
I mean, I will leave it up to you guys. I'd be okay to continue, but I will.
If you had to guess approximately how long of this combat session were you planning?
This was supposed to be the session.
This combat encounter was supposed to be like an hour or 2 hours long?
It was supposed to last for this session, but it will... I feel like the amount of fight that you have left to go, we could probably stop here as a fairly good point, and then pick up with the combat and get it all finished off, and the story stuff that seems to be tied to this may then happen in the next session. So you're going to find out why Zardud and his fellow comrades were attacked by some of their own.
Next week it is.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, yeah. Let's do that. I think that is going to be the best spot for us to wrap it up at. Yes, we'll be back next week. You'll be able to experience more combat. You'll be able to have some fun with that. I'm just going to go quickly say goodbye to stream. I'll be back in just a minute once I've sent a raid out and stuff. And yeah, any questions that any of you folks have, you can fire them my way when I'm back.
Okay.
Sweet as. Well, I'll be back in a moment.
Can I get some new dice?
Oh, fantastic. Well, folks, I hope that you have all enjoyed this stream. I do apologise that I've really not spoken to you chat very much whilst it's all been happening. I hope that everyone has been having a wonderful, wonderful night. But yes, there is conflict that seems to be happening, some combat that the players are now getting into. We will be returning with this next week, and hopefully it will start becoming a little bit more of a regular thing. You might see us playing this each week or every other week. You never know, folks. Could be a lot of fun. Anyway, let's have a little look around, see who we can send some love to, send a raid to. Um, just quickly putting up Twitch. But yes, I hope everyone has had a fantastic time. Who do we have live that we can send some love to now? You know what? Shenny is currently playing some Valheim, Shenny Pian. They are a friend of Swifty Squirrels. I've seen them hanging out in their community, having a grand old time. And we're going to send some love their way, I think. Let me just pull their stream up. Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute blast, folks. I've had a real great time. I hope that all of you have as well. We will be back tomorrow. We will be doing some more Valheim. We are moving Flotsam tomorrow. We are moving our giant city boat raft thing. It's going to be wild. Don't miss it. I'll catch you tomorrow for that, folks. Much love. Bye bye.